101.9 FM.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of the Roundtable on Adaba 8.9 FM. My name is Oladimeji, and on the program today I have the special advisor to the president on political matters, Senator Babafemi Ojudu. He once represented Ekiti Central in the Red Chamber. Senator Ojudu, you're welcome on the program. Let's begin from your home state. A lot has been happening lately. Apart from the issue that we've read articles, we've read so many things, we have so many things about what is going on at the national level and the role that your state governor, your friend, Oladimeji, seems to be playing in all of this. Recently, we saw a letter on social media, a query to some kings in Ekiti State, asking them to respond to the query within 72 hours. A lot of things I've seen come out from all of these. We read the letter from the Alaafin of Oyo and the response from Malawi, who is presently the chairman of Ekiti State Council of Traditional Rulers. What is your position on all of this?
Well, my emotion has moved in the last few days from disbelief to surprise and to disappointment. Disbelief because when I first saw the letter, the query rather, I thought that was not possible and it was not true and that was disbelief until I saw the letter from Alaafin of Oyo, which he wrote on behalf of the major obas in Yoruba land, and I was surprised. And I said, so this could be true. I now got disappointed when I saw Alawi's letter, reporting the Alaafin to Oyo State Governor. I mean, I thought that was unnecessary and uncalled for. Now, let me say this. I was billed to be somewhere this weekend, but I got a kind of invitation to Ekiti by a number of stakeholders to come and discuss this. And they were stakeholders of our party who were alarmed and they were worried that what is going on in Ekiti could be seen by the people of Ekiti as an agenda by our party. So we met yesterday and we debated the issue and we left the meeting and conclude that we should dissociate ourselves from the act of harassing, embarrassing, and humiliating any traditional ruler. That is not that is not something we signed up to, all of us. A lot of people were there, former senators, House of Reps members, House of Assembly, former House of Assembly members, a few guys in government, both in the executive and legislation, called some of us to express their solidarity and dissociate themselves from this effort at humiliating our obas. We believe that if there are issues, if there are disagreements between the obas and the governor, they should be settled amicably. Leaders of Ekiti, our stakeholders will have been called to look into this, to issue a query to foremost obas in Ekiti land and asking them to respond within 72 hours. And the query being signed by Deputy Director for me. It's disturbing. I don't think that was right. Those of us who are born and bred here, we were trained not just to respect our elders. We were trained to treat our traditional rulers with awe. In fact, in the past, hardly do you see an Oba, driving around. You see him perhaps once in a year when he comes out for the major festival of the town or village. So we were not brought up to disrespect our Oba. So we're surprised, we're shocked. But let me say this to the majority of our people in Ekiti and outside Ekiti that this is not an APC agenda. The president holds traditional rulers, in high regards. I mean, I know how he respects the Emir of Daura. If he comes to the villa, the president leaves his office to go and welcome him from, right at the doorstep of the villa. So, and same thing with the vice president. He holds the traditional rulers in Ogun State, in Shagam and Ikene. He treats them with a lot of care, and he's very proud, always very proud to have them around him. So, this is not about our party. This is about, the state governor and some of the officials there. What led to this, I do not know. But let me say and affirm that it is not about our party, APC. It's not about, those of us who are from here, who respects our traditional rulers and hold them in high regard. We also strongly dissociate ourselves from this.
The chief press secretary to the governor issued a statement saying that it was not really a query, that it was a letter, and that it was purely administrative. What's your take on that?
Yes, I mean, anyone born and bred in Yoruba land, anyone who is a true bred indigene of this place will, on first sight of that letter, not believe it could have come from any government. It's uncalled for. It's an insult to the traditional institution. Therefore, I wouldn't blame them for initially not believing that could have happened. People could have thought it was fake news, but subsequently, the things that happened confirmed that it actually came from government. So, I think, and I advise my brother, who is governor, that he should not embark on that kind of journey. It's a journey to disaster. It's a journey to perdition. It's not right. It's not good. Traditional rulers are appointed for life. An elected official at most is for 8 years. So why will you, in your good sense, want to take on people who are life appointees? You will live there, even if by chance you become vice president or president. It also has a limit of number of years that you could hold that position for. But history will record you as being on the side of inanity if you decide to hunt traditional rulers from your state. It's not done. I don't think anybody needs to do that. Let traditional authorities do their things, and you do your own thing as an elected official of government. Why should any governor want to intervene in who becomes chairman or leaders of Council of Obas? Let them meet. Let them use their own consensus and do it according to lay down guidelines they have employed over the years, right from the time of the colonial masters. So why do you want to, upset that kind of arrangement? It's just unnecessary controversy. It's a controversy that does not alleviate the property of the people. It doesn't, it's not about development of the state itself. It's not about, putting food on the table of, millions of Ekitis who are hungry. That controversy does not assist in turning the bad roads in the state. So why the concern and the commitment should be about what you are elected to do, to provide water, provide good hospitals, good roads, good education for your people. For that for me is your concern, not who becomes an Oba or whatever. It's like, getting yourself involved in something that at the end of the day will be divisive and it's not in any way even productive. So why get involved?
Even though the state government, from the statement I mentioned earlier, has said that they are not trying to remove any Oba, but that query was issued few days after the mayor of Kano was removed by the Kano state government. Do you think people were wrong to assume that query to Ekiti State Obas must have stemmed from what happened in Kano?
Well, yeah, of course, people are bound to assume that is what it is, or just to. I saw on Twitter people using hashtag copycat Fayemi or whatever. I think people believe that. Having seen what happened in Kano, was trying to drive fears into the mind of or cow them. How do you begin to cow 16 Obas who are the leading Obas in Ekiti? What for? What are you going to achieve with that? I think he probably didn't discuss that much with some of his aides and advisors. They probably will have advised him against it. I don't see the need for it. Particularly, you are not fighting with just one Oba. 16 Obas, and they are they are the foremost Obas in your this thing. Even the court case ought not to have come up at all. We could have found a way to resolve these things without allowing the Obas to go to. Okay, come, you have a lay down guidelines for doing this thing. Please, KBSs, go and do your thing. Let me know the outcome. At best, you advise. At best, you advise them, to do it in a better way.
And then we saw the letter by the Alaafin of your Obalamidi, and a lot of people were wondering, even though at the time some journalists were trying to also find out whether the state government had received the letter. Some officials said they had not gotten the letter, that they had only read it on social media. But this morning, people woke up to see the letter by the Alawe of Ilawe Ekiti, that is the chairman council of Oba, writing the Oyo State governor and asking him to warn the Alaafins to steer clear of issues of traditional ruler in Ekiti State. What do you make of these two letters? Well, and a lot of people feel that the letter from Alawe was insulting.
Well, when I saw the Alaafin's letter, I like I said, I was shocked. And what I did immediately was to put a call through to a number of the Obas who were said to have been part of the process. And they confirmed that they gave Alaafin the authority to write that letter. And I said, why didn't they first, try to settle the matter between the governor and the kings? And they told me that they have made several efforts in the last 6 months,
to settle
the matter. Reach out to him, reach out to the Obas and get them to work together and settle it amicably. But it does appear that the governor was obstinate and that this was the last resort. And they knew that this Kano thing could spur him to want to do something, and that they were shocked and surprised when actually they now saw the query, and they believe that if that thing is not stopped, it may become it may infect the entire Yoruba land, and every governor will want to remove the Oba in his domain, and that they believe that they have to quickly intervene to stop that from happening. That let government keep to governance. Let the custodian of tradition, handle matters of tradition. So they said it was not their first intervention in the matter, that severally and collectively they've tried to. And I spoke to at least about 4 of the Obas on that list to find out exactly, what really happened, so that I could also, properly brief my principals in Abuja, so that they will have a better understanding and knowledge of what the situation it's about. And they told me that, look, they have it on record how many times they have tried to intervene, and it has not yielded any results. Said the Obas in Ekiti have cried out to them, they've met with them, they've called the governor, they've discussed these matters, but they were shocked when they saw that query. It's that it is not done. That it's not something that they were going to allow. That some of them do have differences. They have to bury their differences in the interest of the collective, in the interest of the collective, and in the interest of their love for Yoruba culture and tradition. Yeah.
Now, the Alaafin of Oyo wrote the state governor, and people felt that even if any letter was going to come after that, it should have been from the governor, the state governor, to Alaafin of Oyo. But people saw the letter from Alawe of Ilawe Ekiti to the state governor. There are people who have said that letter did not really originate from Malawi. They insinuated that was Governor Fayemi's handwriting.
Yeah, I think I want to be measured in trying to comment on this, because again, I wouldn't want to say anything that would disrespect any Oba in Yoruba land. I think that ought not to have been the response to that kind of situation. I think whatever it is, the Alawe ought to have been a bit more restrained in replying to Alaafin. I would have thought that Alawe could have sought accommodation or appointment with Alaafin and go and present his case and the case of the state government. Even beyond that, if I were governor of the state and such a thing happens, I will drive down to Oyo, sit down at a one-on-one, have a one-on-one with the Alaafin and discuss, the merit and discuss the merit of the action I've taken. And that, Alaafin is a very reasonable KBAC. Sit down with him again and try to let him understand why you have taken the action you took, and now using another king as a proxy to report Alaafin to Governor Seyi Makinde shouldn't have been how to respond to that kind of matter. And I will caution here that we should not do anything that will denigrate our tradition, and our culture. I know that Seyi Makinde of Oyo State is a respecter, of our culture and our tradition. And I saw the futility of that action, going to report our laughing to Seyi Makinde. Seyi Makinde will just receive the letter and laugh. What will he do? Will he go and query our laughing? Will he spank him? Will he remove him? Or what will he do to him? So I do think that, the Alawe, if properly advised, ought to have taken the matter up with a fellow Oba without resorting to writing that letter. The other implication is that we should not do anything that will cause division among our people. Ado and Ilawe, what is the difference? Ilawes are married to Ado, married to Ijero. Ijeros are married to Ilawe, or some people are married. There's this Ekiti is actually one. Forget even about marriage. Ekiti is one. When we now pitching one town against the other, pitching one Oba against the other, how does it bring good relationship and love among the Ekiti people? An average Ilawe person now will queue behind his Oba. An average Aramoko man will queue behind his Oba. And then that itself can generate bad blood among our people. And that will not bring development. Anybody in a position of power should strive and aim at uniting his people rather than dividing them. This thing will go down in history, against the Oba that we have been made to do this kind of thing. It's not good for his own image. It's not. After 2 years, what happened to that Oba? Somebody else will become governor in this state. That, decision of yesterday will be reversed today. Could be reversed today. So what then happened? Will they again be able to meet and shake hands as Obas? These are the kind of reasoning we need to put in place in taking this kind of decisions. A governor should be a uniter, not a divisive person. I want to be able to see Alawe walking freely to the palace of Ajero and bantering, talking about how to further develop the culture and tradition of our people. I don't want to, see a situation of antagonism between two Obas of Ekiti land. I mean, the Alawe, I can proudly say is my friend. We're together in the university. I hold him in high regards. I intend to also go and see him that this is not the path to follow in this matter. Government comes and go. Fawashe was a terror here before. He was a conqueror, an emperor. Where is he today? Whoever is there today too will become a thing of the past tomorrow. If somebody comes in, tomorrow, within 8 years too, those things are short in history. Those number of years that you occupy governance is a transient position. Don't begin to see yourself as a traditional ruler. When you are elected into government offices, you will use and expend your own time, and then somebody else will come there. But whatever atrocity committed by you will become part of history and will be recorded against your name, and then your children and grandchildren will be remembered for that period. People today talks about Bashonga, not for any positivity, but for negativity. And every other Akitola is remembered for negativity. Fani Kayode is remembered for negativity. Those were things they do under a period of 2-3 years. So do you want to be then, have your name listed in a register of dishonor when you leave office as a government official? No, you should strive to have your name recorded on a register of honor. And that's why all of us, when we find ourselves in government, we should be very careful the kind of decisions we take, the kind of advice we accept from those who work with us, and the kind of engagements we embark on. Let us be remembered for good rather than for bad.
Let's talk about what is happening at national level within your party. Before now, there had been a lot of insinuation that Governor Oladimeji is one of those governors trying to walk in to remove Oshiomhole from office. And then we saw that article from Sam Omase, where he stated that at the birthday party, 70th birthday party of Ajimobi, that Governor Fayemi said Adam does not have the temperament to lead a party. And ever since, articles have been flying from Ekiti and then from various places. What really is your position about those who are for and those who are against Oshiomhole? Their grounds against Oshiomhole is that he's high-handed and that he has not done well for the party.
Well, this is a very simple matter. All of this crisis is about 2023, and that's also why I always say, look, who knows who is going to be alive tomorrow? All of us are tools in the hand of government, in the hand of God. You know, why should it be what I want to be, what I want to eat? You know, for some people, it's about the next appointment, the next election. It's not about what do we do for the people? How do we uplift our people? How do we, take them out of the gutter, out of poverty? People are already ganging up about 2023. The same set of people who wanted Oyegun to stay contrary to the provision of the Constitution, are the same people who are behind this thing. Oshiomhole was elected to run for 4 years and to seek a renewal of his term after the 4 years. Why don't you wait for him to finish his term, whether he's high-handed or not high-handed? What is even high-handedness? We are talking of high-handedness in Abuja. What are we experiencing in Ekiti State now? Is it low-handedness or similar high-handedness? I think it's about 2023. There is a process for electing and for removing the chairman of a party. So why don't you allow that to take place? Why must we abuse the constitution of the party? Why must we throw the party into crisis? Why must we again embark on a journey to nowhere? If we destroy the party today, what will history record against our name? So for me, again, it is people who are not patient, who are always after one position or the other, who are always plotting, and even in the process of plotting, forget the assignment they have taken on. I believe that we should care more about what we do for the people, how we uplift them. I mean, it's look at our environment here. I drove around yesterday when I came in. It's again, you cannot see prosperity, you cannot see changes. I think that is what we should address our mind to. That's what we should direct our energy towards. Let's see what legacy we can leave for posterity. We want Ekiti State where young people, we have things to do, something to engage them. Let's have industries. Yeah, I marvel each time I hear that Kaduna is setting up a tomato processing plant, is setting up the largest poultry and feed mill in Africa. Kebbi is, assisting private sector to set up rice mill and to set up tomato processing plants, and things are happening in other places. Let's look at that. Even in Ondo next door here, I've heard of an ethanol factory, the first of its kind in Nigeria, set up with the assistance of the government by the private sector. These are the kind of news I want to hear from my state, not rancor between traditional ruler and the governor and all of that. We need to provide for our people. I read Ajashin's Shivadipla Ajashin's autobiography. He was in power for just 4 years. About 6-7 industries, major one, were established during his tenure. What kind of finances were available then that is not available now. So it's I think our energy, rather than all this plotting, intrigues upon intrigues, our energy should be about that. And I think that's what I would advise the government here to concentrate on, so that whoever our party puts forward in future can defeat opposition. But if we continue this way, it may be difficult for us to to have a government of APC after these 4 years.
Okay, one of the things coming out from the anti-Oshomole camp is that they don't want him to be in place until 2023 because they believe he's close to Asiwaju, and Asiwaju has presidential ambition, and that he should be removed from office at all cost.
What is this anti-Asiwaju thing? Asiwaju. Why do we want to bring people down? What is the point? Particularly people who had assisted us in getting to the position we have gotten into. I mean, whatever it is, there may be a disagreement between Asiwaju and some of them. They should look at some of the good things he has done for them, which was not mandatory at that time.
And that disagreement between Asiwaju and Faye?
Well, I do not know the relationship between them. All I can.
You're close to Asiwaju?
Yes, I am.
Has he told you anything about that?
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't say that I'm not aware of some kinds of disagreement, but I think, disagreements come in politics. But again, a leader is a leader. You can disagree with your leader, but don't let it get to the point of no return, or the point where you begin to plot against one another. Okay, fine. Babafemi has the right to him to become president. Asiwaju has the right to him to become president. But who determines? First of all, majority of the party members will determine who picks the position, who picks the ticket. Then Nigerians will now determine, who becomes president. So, for me, if Asiwaju wants to become president, he has the right. If I want to become president, he has the right. But don't subvert one another, or don't subvert each other. Let each person present himself or herself, to the party, in the primary. But this thing about almost 3 years, to the contest, trying to, tinker with the laws and the laws guiding the party and all of that, and rubbish the party and destroy the party, for me, it's not going to help anybody. So we should wait. We should play according to the rules. We should, again, also remember that we are from the same political family. Why must we destroy that family? I have my own disagreement with Dr. Fayemi. I've kept off this place for a long time because I do not want my personal interest to jeopardize, whatever it is that he has for the people here. Similarly, that is, we should, this idea of, fighting Asiwaju, being suspected to be plotting against Asiwaju, mobilizing against Oshiomhole, and all of that, is going to distract from the assignment at hand. If I were him, I would govern this place to the glory of Ekiti and to the glory of Nigeria. So that if after I've run this place and they said, I've been able to attract 10 industries to Ekiti, I've been able to take several youths out of the street and get them employed, I've been able to make the street of all the town in Ekiti more beautiful, I've been able to provide water, I've been able to bring education to a state that all of us could be proud of, then people themselves will call on you and say, this is a good example. The ideal person, we need to run Nigeria. That is how you are going to be judged. You are going to be judged by what you have done, not by how many people you can bring down. That is the way I see it. He's still a young man. What was the age of Buhari when he became president? You have so many years ahead of you. Try, first of all, to let the people know what you are capable of doing. Try to let people know that you are a man of ideas and you are a man committed, to make the life of the citizens a better one. When you do that, when you bring people here and wow, within 3 years, look at how Ekiti has turned out to be. Wow, within 3 years, look at the change that has come to this place. Create a good image for this state, for God's sake. Awaken the spirit of enterprise of the people of this state. Make sure that Ekiti becomes the bread basket of Nigeria. We make sure that we begin to export cocoa out of Ekiti. We begin to export yam, begin to export plantain, banana, and everything. When people see that, you will have little or no work to do to be recognized by fellow Nigerians as a potential candidate to govern the entire country. But if you fail to do that, it will not be possible for intrigues and plotting alone to make somebody president of this country. Look at Atiku. How much of all the plotting and intrigues has been able to make him president of Nigeria? Why did Buhari become president? People saw him as a man of integrity. He has an ideal that everybody keyed into. Integrity, credibility, So you need to have something too that the world will see in you, that Nigerians will see in you. It cannot be intrigue. It cannot be, constant and perpetual plotting. It cannot be. That is not a value or a virtue for becoming a leader.
What Sam Omasa wrote in that particular article, he quoted Dr. Fayemi to have said, Adam does not have the temperament to lead a party, something like that. Now, Shomole, is that true? Is that true that from his utterances, from the way he carries himself and from his actions, that he does not have the temperament to run?
When you point one finger at another person, the four other fingers are pointing at you. There is no human being who does not have his own minus. That kind of thing. If let us assume that all of those accusations are true, we are all members of that party, and we should be able to find a way, to bring him to do what is right. I do not even agree about that. I may have my own differences with Oshiomhole. Is our friends all. This same Oshiomhole, who was very close to you when you were governor here in the first term. You were very close. The contractors, I remember, the contractors that tarred the roads in Ado-Ekiti here, with its station located at almost in front of the police headquarters there, was nominated for you by Oshiomhole at that time. You were friends and business partners at that time. So what has gone wrong now? What is the problem? We should know. Let's tell the world what has happened between the two of you. These are things not known to me and you, but which some of us can speculate on. What went wrong? Somebody you were close to, somebody that used to be your comrade, somebody who used to be your business partner, suddenly is now has temperament. What kind of temperament? Temperament for what? It's again all about these calculations for 2023. 2023 is still far away. There is something immediate for you to address. And that is, for me, is what you should urgently address. Address the issue of development for Ekiti. If you make Ekiti a better place than you met it, all of us from this part, we go out there and support you. We'll be proud that we have our own as president of Nigeria. We will be proud that that's the first Ekiti person who is aiming at becoming president. But first of all, carry out this assignment and let us be proud of you. But if you don't do it, if you allow things to lie fallow and things are not addressed, and people are now beginning to glorify Fayose that we all fought, and I say, things were better. At least Fayose came here and he left the bridge. That bridge is becoming a parallel feature of this town. Somebody may come in 50 years and say, I want to uproot it for something better. But at least it's a permanent feature of this place now. You too must be seen to leave something behind. No matter how bad it may be. I disagreed with the construction of that bridge. The funds could have been used for a better purpose. But again, at least he left something. You too must strive to leave something. If you outperform a PDP governor, it is to the glory of we who are members of your party. But if now everywhere you go, people calling you and saying, Fayose was better, that is not good for us. That will not be good for whoever you try to put down to succeed you in the next few months. So I'm pleading with members of our party, the ESCO of the party, the leaders of the party. What I'm seeing here, what I've had, the vibes I'm getting is not good for our party. But we still have time to change. We have time to put things in place. We have time to go back. If he had a manifesto when he contested, go back and look at that manifesto. What did you promise the people? What can you do for the people? How can you bring them out of poverty? How can you, make them go to bed, with food in their belly? How can you provide employment? How can you make the schools better? So let us ignore the issue about the Oba. Let traditional rulers manage their own affairs. You manage the affairs of the people, and you handle governance. Make it a 24 hours. Engage yourself for 24 hours, serving the people of this state, and then let things play out naturally. If you have to concern yourself with everything at the national level, it distracts. The man who did it last time, Yari, look at what Zamfara had become today. He abandoned governance in Zamfara and he was gallivanting all over the country. Called himself chairman of Governors Forum. Bandits took over the place. Diseases took over the place. And the party was in disarray there.
Deputy National Secretary of the party, who calls himself the acting national chairman, a guy, the man from Rivers State. A lot of people were shocked when he summoned a NEC meeting of your party. You work within the presidency. What is the general feeling within the presidency? Because the president would have to be at that meeting, the vice president would have to be at that meeting.
I think Gadom is an impostor. Gadom cannot share any meeting where the president will be and the president will be an impostor. It's not even supposed to be in that position.
That meeting will not hold.
I do not think so. In all seriousness, Gadom resigned as on the of the party to go and become deputy governor.
So it's not even an ESCO member.
No, it's not by virtue of the law. Guiding our operations. When you leave, when you are official of the party, you have to leave if you want to go and contest elections.
Like Oni did.
Like Oni did. He left to go and run as deputy governor in Rivers, only to come back illegally and now claiming to be acting chairman of the party. I don't think that is right. If we say that we are a progressive party, you must be seen to be doing decent things, not acting in this manner. What I see, the way I see it, is that maybe some people have actually registered a party and kept it, and they are looking at a third force, and they want to first of all destroy this party, so as to allow for their secret party to grow. But is it that easy in Nigeria?
A lot of people have blamed President Muhammadu Buhari for being too, I don't want to use the word complacent, that as the leader of the party, he should have stepped in. That he's not seen to be doing that.
Well, watching closely, the way I see the president is that he's a very patient leader. He pretends not to see what is happening, but he's watching everybody and knowing and trying to get himself acquainted with the cards that everybody are putting on the table. He's watching. He will smile. He will give access to everybody. He will pick up information about everybody, and he will watch. He will not tell you his mind until the last moment. So we watch and see what will happen on this matter. He's a very patient man, and I guess age invests that in people. You've seen it all. You want to understand and know human beings around you. Some are pretenders, some are sincere. You want to convince yourself and be able to, pigeonhole those who are sincere with you and those who are just fake friends, and fake allies. So I think that, for me, is the attitude of the president on this matter. Yeah.
Now let's talk about your party, the APC, in Ekiti State. Oftentimes you drive by, the party secretariat is locked and all of that. What have you gathered about the operations of the party? How effective the party is at this time?
Well, let me say that I switched off for quite a long time about the party in the state, because again, the party is supposed to be independent of the government, and supposed to always mobilize the members.
But I think the chairman has an appointment within government now.
Again, that is legal. That is illegal. If that is true, I don't know if what you are saying right now is true. If you are appointed into government as an official of the party, you must resign. That exactly was what the former deputy national chairman of our party, Adaba, did. The moment he was appointed a minister, he quit that party position. So if anybody is doing that here, that is illegality. And if anybody is encouraging anybody to do that here, then you cannot be accusing Adams of what do you call the offense? High-handed. That is high-handedness, illegality, simplicity. I don't know. I'm just saying that based on what you've told me now, that the chairman of our party here...
I think so. I think it's an appointee.
It's an appointee. It's wrong. It's wrong. He should resign either of the positions. There are a lot of people in this state. If you must take appointment as chairman of our party, then you quit the party. Go and work in government, or decline the appointment and stay as party chairman. And that's why I'm saying that all of this controversy about high-handedness and all that, there is more to it. Because, you could see high-handedness everywhere. You see it everywhere. It's not one person, not two persons are guilty of high-handedness in the affairs of our government, of our party or of our government.
Now, let's come back to the issue of the traditional rulers. What advice will you give to those Obas who have been issued queries on how to go about this?
Well, I will still encourage them that dialogue is still the best way out of this matter. Dialogue is still the best way. They are our fathers. They are custodians of thousands of years of history. They are embodiment of wisdom, and that's why they have so many chiefs under them, people of varied experience. Some have worked in academics, some in government, some in traditional system. They know, and I'm sure they know how to resolve matters. They themselves are judges in their own court. So I will counsel that they look at this as a matter of a son who has made a mistake. They should forgive him for whatever he has done wrong, and only Adaba, they are our elders. They should draw him a bit closer and let him know that they are his father, and that whatever mistake has been made, that it's about. It's not what they say. It is about. It is something that can actually be corrected. I was trying to look for a phrase in that, but I think we can work something out. And I'm saying this because if this thing has to drag on, it's going to affect our party. It's going to affect our party. It's easy to mobilize people against the government with issue of traditional rulership, issue of matters of traditional rulership. I mean, if opposition is going to say, okay, the man didn't provide road, he didn't provide food, he didn't provide employment, people don't get easily mobilized with this kind of thing. But when they say, oh, you want to remove my Oba, they will use that against not just the governor, but against our party. And that's why I'm pleading with both the governor and the traditional rulers. Please, let us find an amicable solution to this problem. And quickly, too, we should not allow it to fester. If we allow it to fester, it's going to linger, and then our party will be tagged as the party that is against traditional institution, which is not true. Our party is not against traditional institution. And I'm telling you, I'm repeating it again, I've seen the kind of respect accorded the Emir of Daura by the president. I've seen the kind of respect accorded the Emir of Kazaure, which is a neighbor of Daura, by the president, and a number of other traditional rulers. When the late Olowo came visiting the palace, the VP came down from his office and met him at the entrance to his office in the villa. Similarly, when we came, the VP came down to receive him. So I know that the leaders of the party, respect traditional institutions. I know that. Look at Asiwaju in Lagos. I've never had Asiwaju had an open quarrel with any Oba in Lagos State. And what I've seen is that since he took on the mantle of leadership in Ogun State, and in Lagos State, the fortune of the kings in Lagos State have increased. It has increased. Changing their vehicles, remodeling their palaces, taking them abroad if and when they are sick, and respecting them, giving them, the honor that is due to them. So these are leaders of our party. If that has been the situation, so don't record this against our party. Please let it not be recorded against our party. And that's one of the things we came up with at the stakeholders meeting I was invited to. And I advise everybody, well, yes, go out. Let's condemn what has happened, but let's seek for understanding between the parties in this matter. Yeah.
Okay, now let's quickly talk about what is happening at the national level. What do you see happening eventually? The conclusion of this, because a lot of Nigerians
of which one?
Worried. A lot of Nigerians are worried. They are expecting what is going to happen at the national level. Be your Shomale issue. I
think at the point in time, all of us, everyone involved, we have to see reason and conflict resolution. We have a lot of people who are adept at it within our party and within the government. We will resolve the matter amicably. If anybody thinks that this is going to be used,
because why I'm asking is that people are saying this was how the PDP started during the time of the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, and the PDP imploded from within.
Yes, I do not see this one imploding our party. Seriously, I think we are going to manage it. We'll manage it. Take my word for it. It's going to be managed.
All right. On the final note, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, do you have any words for members of your party in Ekiti State?
Yeah, I'm pleading with them, particularly those who have been calling that they have not been benefiting, to keep hope alive. Those who have one thing or the other against the government of the day, that we should not abandon our party. There are elements who are threatening to the camp. I said they should not rush to any decision. That look, we can, and I also want to call on the leaders. I think they should summon meetings of stakeholders of the party itself. Let us meet, let us discuss the functions of the party, the future of the party, and build a stronger party. My prayer is that, and wish is that, this party could continue to rule this state in perpetuity, so that we can bring development. This idea of one party doing 4 years, another party doing another 4 years, does not allow for development. It does not allow for planning on the long term, So there will be no continuity. So I think whatever it is anybody is not happy about, I think there should be an avenue created to discuss it, to pacify people and to give quality and sincere advice to the governor and the government of the state. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, for coming on to this edition of the Roundtable.
Thank you very much, Dimeji. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Adaba Daniels, and this is where we draw the curtain on to this edition of the program. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.
8.9 FM.